Hey guys, it's Goosebumps Completionist, and today I have a surprise haul video for you. I know it's been a while since I made one of these, and I do feel really bad because these are some of my most requested videos here on YouTube, and some of my highest performing videos as well, ironically. But I haven't made one in a while. As you can see on my backdrop, I do have quite a few licensed merch on my shelves that a lot of you probably are curious to hear how I acquired them or whatnot. And I do hear you out there. So I'm going to make it up to you. I'm going to do a collection video once I reorganize this shelf, and this one over here that you can barely see. Once I get those tidied up, I'm going to do a complete collection walkthrough of everything I currently own that I have on display, so you all can just appreciate the things I have, to kind of give back for all the time that you've been patient with me on these. Now, I don't know if I'm going to bring back haul videos on a regular basis, but whenever I get the itch of something particular, I'm always going to make it. Now, the reason why I wanted to do one today was because I found kids' horror/horror items in an unexpected place. And that place is a local market bazaar. And if you don't know what a market bazaar is, it's not a chain or anything. It's just a nickname you give these type of shops. They're not quite flea markets, but they kind of resemble them. They're essentially in shopping centers, either ones that still have well-known businesses in them, or maybe in some rundown shopping center, and they have taken over the space of a once popular business that no longer exists, either in that shopping center or period. And when you go inside one of these places, there's just rows upon rows upon rows upon rows of local vendors who come in there and rent out a little booth, as a side hustle, essentially, to sell off their art that they make, whether that be paintings, prints, custom signs, decorations, you name it. Or they can be reselling collectible items such as DVDs, comic books, sometimes autographs, sports cards, stuff like that. These are the type of places that you don't think you would find kids' horror items, because, I am the Goosebumps Completionist. You're obviously here to hear about kids' horror content. And I was not expecting to find anything, but of all people, my own mom told me to go in this place because she went in there with her friend one day and saw that there's a couple of booths that had some things that I might really want. And I went in there today, not expecting to drop $73. And I came out spending $73 on some really cool items that I found, for the most part, for $10 or less. And I could not believe the stuff I found. And I'm going to stress this again. All of these items are unlicensed. But I think that unlicensed fan-made items by local artists should be more appreciated out there in the Goosebumps fandom, or in the kids horror fandom, or even horror fandoms for that matter. These items kind of reflect, from the artist or the creator themselves, a passion and a jubilance for these IPs. And the fact that some things that I found today even were made, or somebody wanted to make this to brighten somebody else's day, tickles my heart. And I urge you all, go find these market bazaars out there. Or maybe you can still find a full-on flea market that kind of has some of these vendors in there. Go look out there and see what you can find from local artists or local vendors that are handmade, that are unlicensed, and kind of embrace these things for your collection, all right? Hear me out, because I have some really cool stuff to show you, all right? Now, this first item, I need to kind of go over the time lapse. So I was in the store for about an hour and a half, and I was having a field day. There was just so many vendors selling Halloween or spooky themed stuff, because at the time of me making this video, it's September. So, of course, people are trying to capitalize on that time of year. And there were so many things that I wanted, but these things, I saw them and I had to get them. So this first vendor, I managed to make my way to the very back of this store that I think used to be either a TJ Maxx or a Marshall's. So it goes pretty far back. And I think there's an upstairs storage area. It could have been something else, I forget. But I was in the very back where they keep pretty much a whole back wall of artists, right? And I was looking through all the bookshelves and, you know, the display pieces and seeing what some people had. And I saw this art print on display, and it was only $10. And I was like, you gotta be kidding me. This is the only non-kids horror item I'm going to share in this video, but if you can't tell, I'm a massive Creepshow fan. And Creepshow from 1982 is my all-time favorite film ever made. And when I saw this, I had to get this. And it's a print of a local artist who pretty much took inspiration, I guess, from stills or photos from the original 1982 Creepshow and hand drew their own interpretation here. If you don't know the segments, right here you have E.G. Marshall, the actor who plays this old man character in the final segment. They're creeping up on you. You have Stephen King right here, who co-wrote this movie with George Romero in his Jordy Verrill character right here with the moss growing on the side of his face. And he comes from the second segment, The Lonesome Death of Jordy Verrill. You have the woman, I forget her name, the actress at least, but this is an iconic scene from the first segment of Creepshow called Father's Day, where you see the head with the birthday cake icing and the candles popping out. Right here you have Adrienne Barbeau, who was for a long time married to John Carpenter, the guy who created the Halloween franchise and made a lot of classic 80s horror films. She plays in the fourth segment, The Crate. And then up here, you have the two water demon zombie things from the segment. They're Something to Tide You Over. I almost said the wrong title there. But I was super impressed with the look of this. And then, of course, you have the Creep, the mascot of Creepshow up here. I mean, this thing looks so cool. I'm sorry about the glare because it is in wrapping. I'm going to keep it in this until I get it framed. But this was so cool. And like I said, I only paid $10 for this. For local art that is just incredible and reflects my lifelong fandom of Creepshow. Because honestly, I've been a fan of Creepshow for as long as I've been a fan of Goosebumps, I feel. So I had to get this. And I hope a lot of you like this out there. I know you come here for kids horror, but yeah, I just had to share this because this was so cool. Now on to the kids horror stuff. After I found that Creepshow print, I thought I was happy enough. But I found this vendor coming around, you know, near the front side of the location, because when I came in, I went to the right and went straight back, and I just kind of went down each individual aisle as I went. But I stumbled across this one vendor where I picked up 3 items from. And what caught my eye was there was some original 62 books on display on the wall. I was like, okay, we have some Goosebumps fans up in here. Let me go check out to see what they have in here. And there were some handmade enamel pins, or maybe secondhand enamel pins that, I don't know, maybe they run through a syndicate or whatnot to sell these things. But they had some really cool stuff that I had to get. And the first thing I noticed was this little small enamel pin for $4. And I don't know if it's going to focus here, but it's Are You Afraid of the Dark with a box television. I thought that was so cool to see Are You Afraid of the Dark handmade merch. I was not expecting to find that. So, yeah, I was pleasantly surprised to get this little thing. I think I'm going to keep it probably wrapped, or I might take it out and put it up there. You can't see it, but they're on this bookshelf over here where I'm pointing. There is a in the works, Are You Afraid of the Dark display going on there. And this is going to go over there because you just don't find Are You Afraid of the Dark merch these days. So I was happy to get this. But these two, I was not expecting to find. So, of course, I had the Goosebumps books there, and they were charging like $5 a piece. And they weren't first printings and didn't have inserts, so I didn't buy any of them. But I saw these 2 metal signs, and one of them looked like original art. But I'm not sure the one that is definitely just a book cover turned into a metal sign. You can probably see I already have one here, so these 2 are probably going to be added on somewhere over here. We have The Haunted Mask, the Brandon Dorman cover. I'm like, okay, at least your Haunted Mask, one of my favorite Goosebumps books ever, and one of my favorite episodes. So I was not too displeased whatsoever to find this, and I paid $10 for this, which I thought was a really good price, especially for something that definitely is not licensed. And the second thing I picked up now, somebody hand drew this, and it looks custom. So I don't know the originator or the artist who did it. There's no artist mention on it, but we have here Slappy, and you can see Goosebumps here. I'm sorry about the glare because these are still wrapped and all of that, but yeah, I was like, okay, this is cool, and I paid $10 for this one as well. So yeah, I got 2 metal signs to add to the wall. I was super happy to find this nonetheless. And like I said, at this point, I only had like 33 bucks total, so I was happy with that. But then I come across one last booth that I bought something from, and they had a bunch of stuff just laying around that insinuated that they were mega horror buffs and they were making some handmade stuff. And I went through this booth for about 30 minutes because I was thinking along the lines of there could be something Goosebumps or Are You Afraid of the Dark in here. Sadly, there wasn't. But they had some shirts that they made. And I saw this, and luckily they had my size because I needed to have this. And this was definitely the most expensive item I picked up today. It was $35. They made this sweatshirt here of Halloween Town, a Disney Channel original movie from 1998 that doesn't have hardly any merch. You only really find it on Etsy, and this looks like something that you would find on Etsy, honestly. But when I saw that, I was blown away, and I had to pick this up. I mean, a Halloween Town sweatshirt. If you don't know anything about Halloween Town, it's easily one of the most popular Halloween DCOMs of all time. It's probably in the most recognizable DCOMs of all time consideration as well. It's one of the most popular movies for the Halloween season for kids, still to this day. And the movie came out in 1998. That should say a lot about the quality of the movie, right? This, to me, is just a classic staple. And on the shirt, I'm going to try to point out as best as possible, you have the Cromwell family right there. You have Aggie, the grandmother, played by the late, great Debbie Reynolds. Then you have Marnie over here, who's played by Debbie Reynolds. And then Joey, I think Zimmerman, who plays the little brother. What is his name? Why am I blanking on his name? I don't know. Then you have Sophie, who I forget the actress who plays her, but Sophie's there as well. Dylan. That's the kid's name, Dylan. Then you have the DCOM stills that used to play on the Halloween season. You see this pumpkin kid dancing on the movie reels. That's supposed to be a nod to let's watch a Disney Channel movie. You know that jingle? That's what that's homaging there. I think that's Benny, the skeleton cab driver. You have the pumpkin right here that's in Town Square, and you have the City Hall building looking back. I kind of wish they would have put Calabar on this, because Calabar is the main villain of the movie, but I digress. You get the iconic overhead shot that's on the book that Marty gets of Halloween Town from her grandmother in the beginning of the movie. And then you have this Halloween Town image of Marnie just overlooking the town. I don't know if that's supposed to be a nod to Calabar's revenge. It looks like. It looks like it is. But nonetheless, this was incredible, and I was happy to find this. Like I said, I paid $35 for it. And for all these items today that I was super happy to get, I only paid $73 for pretty much local handmade items. And I'm fine paying that money because it goes right back into my community. It probably will tell them, based on what sold, to keep making more of this. And as long as they keep making more of this stuff that intrigues me and makes me want to buy it, I'm going to keep supporting it and keep having it made. Because at the end of the day, in my opinion, going to support a small business is way better than going to support some big business that might only get one Goosebumps item in, right? I'm just being honest, you know. And for me, I can care less if stuff is licensed. As long as it looks cool, as long as it fits what I'm into, like as obscure of some things I'm into, like kids horror, I'm always going to try to pick it up and share it with you guys, because I just find this stuff really cool. And most of this stuff you can probably find on places like Redbubble or Etsy. You can find similar quality stuff, but you don't have to pay shipping. And like I said, the bright side is you shop local and you pay way less. So I think it's a cool trade-off for these stuff. But Nonetheless, yeah, that's my quick little haul for you guys. Let me know down in the comment section, did you think the items I picked up were cool? Do you have these type of stores near you? Would you be interested in buying anything similar to what I bought from vendors near you? And what's your thoughts on unlicensed merchandise? Are you for it? Are you against it? I'm dying to know. And I'll see you next time.